Welcome back. For those who are just joining us, we're talking about substance and drug abuse. For any of your questions, comments, and suggestions, you can hit us up on our official Facebook page, which is Aviation TV Kenya. Our Twitter handle is at Aviation TV Kenya. My Twitter handle is at Leona Asiko Obura. My Facebook page is at Leona Asiko Obura as well. So now let's ask you, Reverend, what changes are very suggestive and obvious from a person who's abusing drugs or alcohol?
Well, there are a number of changes, the physical changes that we see. Like if we start with the visual, what you see from the eyes. Sometimes you find eyes that are dotted with blood. It's like every time the eyes cannot cheer up. It's like somebody has some other problems from inside. Also, alongside that, you find the person has some other mental issues, that this guy is not very stable, cannot be able to stay in one place for a long time. They keep on moving. So it's like, just like you find a baby, and baby will not, you not command a baby to sit down at one position, and then you find the baby there if only the child is able to walk. So this person keeps on, like, he moves from place to place, and especially if he has not taken the drug. He can only stabilize when he is under the drug and alcohol. That's when you see the person seated. But you not be able to, of course, get a lot of sense from this guy. Well, there are other physical changes that we find in terms of the body marks. Like if this guy injects himself, you may find so many marks on the body, spotted with black marks on the legs, maybe the feet and the hands, because they keep on injecting themselves.
Injecting the drug in.
Yes. And sometimes they get sick. You find them being sick because this person is not feeding well. So obviously, you know that the immune system of this guy is low. What doesn't that one tell you? It tells you that this person is unguarded. So you be sick. Sometimes even when they are sick, you may not know. And that's why even as a parent, in case you have such a person in your family, you need to watch out. Even teachers, some of them would start faking even sickness so that they can go out and buy drugs. So they will always be coming for permission, seek off, or or rather seek out.
Some are even late for their lessons.
Yes. So other times they want to move out very frequently. That, excuse me, I want to go out. And if you can follow them from the class, you find them not going to the lavatories, but they may end up even going to the dormitories or behind the toilets to just have a snuff or something. So that is also very, very important, by the way, even for this lesson, to the parents to know that sometimes when you see some marks that you are suspicious about
on your child's body,
yes, and somebody is always wants to wear jumpers,
even when it's hot.
Yeah, that have long sleeves, and they are not only going to reach this part up to the palm here, I mean from where the palm started, but he wants to cover almost the whole of the hand, and they are always shivering, like they are feeling cold. So physically, you need to know this person has a problem. He is maybe sick or taking some drugs which have effect on, negative effect on this child. Again, it's worth noting for the parents to always check on the behavior of this person. Behavior in terms of how he comes home, when he comes home, and also the people he is in his company. Now, if the company of your son or even your daughter is for the suspicious people, some of them don't want to even wash because the drugs will make them, their bodies to feel very cold. By the way, it's not only about seeing the marks. They are not only hiding the marks, but they are literally feeling cold. You see, they are not feeding well.
Yes.
So sometimes you find somebody who is putting a jumper and it is very hot, and even he has already covered the head.
And he doesn't have malaria?
Yes. And you find this person is always like withdrawn. Those are some of the physical things that, things or changes that you need to observe from your son or from your daughter. And therefore you follow that person up until you know whether the person is taking drugs or not. Random checks of their rooms is also very important.
How about hiring someone to follow them around for a week? As we were doing research on this topic,
yes,
one of the parents we met with on the streets actually say that for her, how she found out that her son was doing drugs, she hired a police officer who followed him from Monday to Monday.
Yes.
And taking photos. She even got to know the joints he hangs out with, the friends. And do you advise that?
Well, that one is a bit expensive for those who are not well-to-do. But for those who can afford, that would be the best style.
So as a counselor, you approve of that as well?
Yes, it is one of the best.
Investigating on your child?
Yes, because, they keep on cheating. They'll cheat you that they are not doing it, even when they are doing it. Even after one has swallowed or even sniffed, they'll tell you, no, ma'am, I've not done it, daddy, I'm not the one who has, I can never. So the best thing is to follow the trails of your son or your daughter in case you are suspicious that he or she might be taking drugs. Now, the other thing that is also very important for us, the parents, because if we don't do this, we stand to lose them too early, because we may lose them too early. Now, it is also important, as much as we go to search their boxes and their rooms, it is also good to see whether this person is neat. If you find that the boy doesn't want to go to bathroom all the time, you have to force your son into going to the bathroom. He doesn't want to wash his clothes, and he's been washing them before. That's a signal. That's a warning to tell you that something is amiss, and you better take action quickly.
Okay, but that's a very that signal can be tricky, because sometimes there are boys who just don't like to bath. I'm sure you know that they have no problem, but and then a boy who the mother has brought you up in a home, you even have your own washing machine in your bedroom. Sometimes it's very tricky, because if your son, even when he was growing up, he just didn't like to bath.
Now, for that one, you may not know.
Yeah.
But I'm only saying for those who have been bathing
before,
washing before, and then there is this drastic change of behavior and of themselves, of the way they dress, you need to be very, very careful. You need to start examining closely what is eating up the child. Is it because of the hormonal changes, right? If it's a girl, is it because of the growth? Is he maturating as a boy? Is it because he's in his puberty stage? What is it that is making my son to change this much? In school, I mean, as a parent, you are called almost every time that your son is so dirty, he doesn't want to wash. But when he was in Form 1, he was washing well, cleaning well, making his bed well. But now in Form 2, Form 3, he has changed.
Yeah.
Therefore, that is what I'm saying, that in the case you find that something is happening, a change is happening that is, that you cannot also understand, you better try to follow up the boy or the girl to know what might have been the problem or the cause of this.
Considering that is a very tricky stage of their lives.
Yes, yes.
And there's a lot of rebellion.
There is.
Sometimes
Actually,
you can have such a nice child becoming so rebellious.
Yeah.
And they feel like they owe you no explanation, yet they live in your house.
That is very, very true. You see, one is that at this stage, and we rightly mentioned so in our previous episode, one of the episodes, is that, these children are discovering themselves. They see mom, who is not as tall as huge as they are, and dad who is whose voice is deep, and he has also a broken voice, and some of them have already deep voices, and they think that they know more than the parents do. Therefore, at some point, they may feel like we don't want any advice from them. And sometimes, there is a lot of advices that we give to our children, even to a point of not allowing them talk. By the way, Asiko, sometimes we do a lot of even caning without considering that these children have feelings. We do it. Some parents do that. And as the children grow, they tend to rebel. Because in the first place, I did something not out of my own self, out of doing something not deliberately, but out of ignorance that I did it. I didn't know. You did not correct me with love. You just started whipping me. So if you do that, then I'll keep it into I'll keep the feeling into my subconscious mind.
I like the comment you've made.
Yes.
Correct with love.
Yes.
Permit me to go a bit out of topic, and please tell parents some, polite ways to correct with love. Because if a child is taking drugs and you're not going to beat the drugs out of them.
True.
So just tell parents, even if it's just 2 or 3 ways to correct the love. Kindly.
We are actually not going out of the topic. We are still under the topic of addiction, the drug abuse. Because how do some of these children get into the drug abuse? They get into them because they are aggrieved. Their subconscious tells them that they ought to revenge. And for me to revenge on my parents is to do what they are against. You see?
Yes.
One time you locked me out. Another time you tied me with ropes and you started beating me up, whipping me. Another day you denied me food. We didn't talk about it. There was no love. So to me, it's like I'm a stranger in this home. I don't have the sense of belonging. So what do I do? Like we have said a few minutes ago, that now that I'm depressed, I may think that taking alcohol would at least quench or subside that, or make me feel better and be able to face the reality, which is not true.
Yeah.
So in the same way, if this kid is like sidelined from what you have taught the child, misled by colleagues, by age mates, by his peers, then your child will be the first to take the drugs or the first to take alcohol.
Okay.
Now, as you've asked, one way of correcting the children
With love.
with love is in showing the child the mistake, correcting the child. When the child is around age 5, between the first day to age 5, you can do some whipping, some correction, because that child may not even understand when you tell him or her that don't do that. But if you inflict some pain, the child will not want.
Just little spanking, also not exaggerated.
Yes, of course.
Yes.
It's a spank, not really beating up. It's not pinching. But because their skin
is also sensitive.
Tender and sensitive.
Because there are cases of parents who even use belts at that age.
No,
that is also child abuse.
That is too much for a child. But after age 5, when the child is talking, the child is in school, that is when you can inflict some little of pain on this kid. But don't just do it. Don't just do it, but reason out, negotiate. Supposing you repeat this, because you don't do it immediately.
Okay.
You first need
to
correct the mistake. You tell the kid that, you see, this is wrong for you to do. Don't eat sugar. It will work against your teeth.
Don't lick salt.
Don't lick salt. It is bad for you. It is not good for your health. Don't bang anything. I mean, the doors. Don't hang on the doors, swing on the doors. It will break the hinges. But after saying this, you come and find the child doing the same. This is the time you need not to run mad, not to get so mad with the child, but to tell, come, so and so come. Remember yesterday or the day before, I told you not to do this, but you have repeated it. What do you want me to do to you or with you? Then he tells you, Dad, I will not repeat this. I would not want to do it again. I'm so sorry. Then don't only take the sorry, but of course you need to feel that the child is remorseful and you take it upon yourself. But don't end at sorry. Ask the child, supposing you repeat
this again, yes.
What should I do to you? The child will tell you, just give me a whip or some whips. How many? How many should I give you? Then the child may tell you 3. Then you negotiate. You say, not 3. I'll give you 5. The child, no, Daddy, no. Give me 4. So strike a balance and an agreement. If you agree that it will be 4, please never exceed 4.
Don't you think that can also make a child get used to you?
No, really.
It actually creates respect.
Respect and love for
because
each other. And closeness.
I know of people who are well-mannered.
Yes.
And they cannot even remember being pinched by their parents.
Yes, because when the thoughts were corrected when they were small.
These are parents who made them understand that we can communicate.
Yes, that communication. Otherwise, the best of all the disciplines is the word of mouth. When you reason out with a child, it is the best. And believe you me, any child who has been corrected that way, without even beating up the kid, is well-mannered even today. Because the ones are more powerful than the cane. That's why even when the government banned the caning of the students, to me, I feel it's okay. But there is something else that was not done. They didn't provide counselors to be reasoning out with these children.
They removed one form of correction and they didn't replace it.
Yes. Otherwise, the teachers are really mad about the kids and the discipline. They have so many disciplinary cases.
And there are schools where they have black pipes.
Of course, they're still doing it.
And they make even girls lie down.
Yes, sometimes
I think that is very bad.
Pains on them. simply because they have no other alternative.
But don't you also
there
reason
was
out with me
alternative-
that it's bad to make a young girl lie down and
No,
do?
within girls, no.
Aye,
Within girls,
and
no.
there are schools that do
You know,
that.
they attend. I mean, there are some of their body parts which might be affected forever. You see, like you'd make somebody crippled forever
In the name of correcting.
in the name of correction, of mannerism, and so on. So we would tell the teachers, please, for heaven's sake, in case it's a child or a girl, as much as you'd inflict some pain, know where to do it. If it's the hand, let it be the hand.
Yes.
During our time in primary school, we used to be beaten, all of us, on wholesale. But I remember there are specific teachers, and I applaud them, I honor them, I respect them, who could not beat the girls on the back and the buttocks. They used to beat them either on their palms or their feet. Nothing like beating them on the back, because they know the fragility in their backs and the buttocks. As we could be beaten anywhere, as we, I don't know, maybe a bit hardy. But of course, it was also not very good for us, because sometimes it was too much, it was too severe for boys. Even some of them could insult and abuse the teachers because of that kind of a beating,
Yeah.
which was like
Out of hand.
Therefore, we are telling the parents again that that is, you know, as you talk to the kid, also sometimes get time to counsel, because there is also the counseling part where you show the child where he is going. Because if you don't allow or let them teach your child on how to formulate a vision for his life, for her life, that child will remain like a normal, you know, like any other child in the streets. But when, as much as you are correcting the child, let the child know where he or she is going. Like you want a certain profession in your home, and you can see this is the child that can bring that in my home. Name that kid, because as a father again, like if this kid has a father, the father should give the name to this child. Is it a professor in this? Is it a doctor in this? Is it an engineer in this? Is it a what? All these things should happen by the parents. And I would also challenge you and me, and challenge myself, that this is our role. It is our parental role to name our children by what we want them to be. God has given us the mandate. Therefore, even if the child is becoming a bit naughty, you don't have the mandate or the legal mandate to call, or rather to tell this child that you are a cow, you are goat, you know, you are this. Imagine as equal when we give them such names, they become so. You know,
So
you
there's power
find,
in the tongue.
in that tongue as a parent. Because you cannot keep a child for 9 months in the womb, and then you just leave that child to the public or to the people to name the child the way they want, to the teachers to name your children the way they want. It is you as a mother, it is you as a dad to name that child, because God has given you the role of procreation for the purpose of making that child a better person for God, not only for yourself, and also for that home.
Okay.
So the parents who are watching us here, we are telling them that whatever the age now, you need to know how far you've gone with your kid. In case the child is now in his or her teenage, you need to sit down with that child. Even if you feel like you can hand over the child to a counselor, do it. This is
Don't
the right
be
time.
embarrassed about it.
This is the right
That's
time.
why you people are there to help.
Yes,
Yeah.
this is the right time for us to do that. That I take my child to a counselor so that the counselor can fine-tune my child. Because there are some of the things that have bypassed you as a parent, which you also, they are a bit more technical
Yeah.
for you,
Yeah.
which you also need somebody else, a trained personnel, who can now be able to give them out, or to produce such ones that you cannot produce, or to say them and to show your kid more or even better than you can. And with love again, this counselor can call you, invite you in the office together with your kid after he has fine-tuned your child, so that now there can be that fellowship, that this and this we have agreed with your son, this and this we have said that they should stop at home,
Yeah.
because he has talked to us or talked to me and saying that you also offend him
When you do certain
when
things.
you do certain things. So I've called you so that we can have some good
Dialogue and
between-
reconciliation.
yes, and reconciliation. That's the word.
Yeah.
We can reconcile with each other.
Okay.
And this is where now you can talk, you talk, and the child talks, you can forgive each other. And as a parent, by the way, Asiko, there shouldn't be any shame telling your kid that I'm sorry.
Thank you. There's
Yes.
so many parents who can't say that word.
Yes. And I'm telling you, even though some of them who are listening to us will never tell their children, leave away their spouses. They will never tell their children, even when they offend them,
Yeah.
that I'm sorry. And when a child hears it from the mother, from the father, and it is from deep within the heart of this,
They also
Parent.
change,
they will,
and they'll never want to offend you as a parent.
seriously speaking.
Yes.
How about those parents who will hold hands and pray with the child? They pray over this problem, addiction. Lord, I pray that my child should have this and that. And you see, when you pray against the addiction and you're holding the hands of your children or your child, and you're telling God, you know, God, me, I know you did not give me this child so that he can get spoiled.
Yeah.
He can get lost. You gave me to glorify you. This child will glorify you forever, and you'll become a doctor like I named him.
Well, thank you so much, Reverend. Quite good words of wisdom, but sadly, time cannot allow us to continue.
Sorry, I can give them my Twitter and my email now,
Okay.
I suppose. My email is mochiri1@gmail.com. My Twitter handle is @Ifanuel. Thank you.
Well, to my viewers, we still have so much to cover on substance and drug abuse. So please join us next week and feel free to send your questions so that we can discuss them in the next episode. It's always a pleasure having you here. Have a pleasant Sunday evening.